Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm still your girl Nikki. Okay guys, I am gonna continue the story I've been telling you guys from here. Okay, I'm so sorry I am not being very consistent with this story, missing many days before coming up with the story again and all that. Just bear with me. Okay, sometimes when you're telling these stories, you might tell yourself that, okay, yeah, I've forgotten about all those things, I don't feel bad about them anymore. But sometimes when you talk about it, you see yourself, feeling some kind of way again, not really feeling bad, okay, but yeah, that kind of emotional stuff. But at the end of the day, yes, definitely we're going to tell the story to the end. Okay, so yeah, please keep on holding on until I tell the story to the end. Okay, and please don't leave. All right, so yes, I'm still your girl Nikki. If it's the first time of coming to this channel, please do well to subscribe. Okay, do well to subscribe. This channel is actually a family channel, okay, yeah, where we tell stories, show our lifestyles, daily lifestyles and all that. So please do well to subscribe, do well to share this channel to people for them to subscribe as well. But the story I'm telling mainly is for people to learn from my experience. Okay, this is a story that will actually help a whole lot of people out there, especially those that are in a very bad marriage, let's say toxic marriage. Okay, you're still thinking, what am I gonna do? How will I survive if I go out there and things like that? Believe me, I survived. If I'm able to survive with 3 children, definitely you too can survive. Okay, that is it. So, and I pray for every woman out there, please, if you haven't gotten married before, if you're still yet to get married, please pray that you get married to a very good partner. Be a good person too, because if you're not a good person, you cannot get married to a good person. That is what I pray to God. Let bad people meet bad people and let good people continue to meet good people, because I don't understand this mixture. Good person with a bad person, and then at the end of the day, everything is not going on well. It's so painful. Okay, so yeah, before we dive into the story, I'm still your girl Nikki. Please do well to subscribe. Subscribe, okay? And then we start. All right. For you to understand the story, please make sure that you watch the part 1 and part 2 of the story so that you understand it from where I'm going to start again, okay? So now, from the part 2, where I stopped was where, I talked about we being kind of stranded, when we came from Ireland to Germany, back to Germany, and then there was a problem in Ireland with our accommodation there. Okay, so we're actually kind of stranded, and a friend of mine have to tell me I can come to stay with her. We can actually come to stay with her because I was with my 3 children. Okay, so, and this is somebody that she's a single person, and she stayed alone in her apartment. Okay, and it's a 1 room. Okay, so you can imagine, where 1 bedroom, where I'll have to take the 3 kids and all that. So you can imagine, just imagine the disaster. Anyways, but that is not even a disaster, because number one is that when we're in Ireland, we actually was managing 1 room. But yes, it was a house. Okay, let me just put it that way. It was a house, but then we have only 1 room there in that house. So yes, even in Ireland, okay, we were staying in a house, all right, but we have only 1 room for ourselves. So that is to say, we have 1 bed, okay. And what happened was that the bed, I have to give it to the girls, and I have to sleep on the floor. Yes, I did that for almost 1 year. Okay, I was sleeping on the floor for almost 1 year, and yeah, I didn't really find it that bad, because the main thing is we actually have an accommodation over our head. That is what matters. So my girls were managing 1 bed, they were staying in 1 bed, and then I was staying on the floor. And as of then, my little child, that's my last baby, as of then, Treasure, was still very little. So sometimes she doesn't even want to stay with her sister, she just want to stay with mommy. So that is to say, she has to come down where I'm staying to sleep there with me. Okay, yes, it was never an easy journey. Okay, I'll put it that way. It was never an easy journey, but the main thing is, as long as we're able to see a place to lay our heads, that's all that matters. All right, so now, fast forward to Germany. So we had to go to my friend's place to stay, and that is, I feel like we were there to discomfort this lady, but at the end of the day, she didn't even see it as that, because she's a very nice lady. It's somebody we have been friends, okay, and yeah, that's why sometimes it's even good to be good to people. It's very good to be nice to people, because you never can tell where they will meet you tomorrow. Okay, I was nice to her in the past, and never knew I was gonna get this kind of favor later in life. Okay, and I was really grateful to that. So when we got to her house, we stayed there. You know how it feels like you have kids, you don't have a job. You have kids, you don't have money. Like you have kids that need to eat every blessed day, but you don't even have anything to feed them. Okay, you might be wondering, you might be asking yourself, okay, what about all those days? Have you not been saving and things like that? Believe me, my life story actually teach me how to become a good saver. Okay, I know how to save. I love saving as of, you know, in fact, all the time I know I love to save. Let me just put it that way. But there are some things that will happen to you. You might even forget some certain things. You might even forget that there is something like that. All you need to do, all you want to do is let that money just come into your hands, and then you start putting it in here, pay this one, pay that one, make sure that the kids eat, and at the end of the day, before you know what is happening, that money is gone, and you're somebody that is working, so you depend on your monthly salary for everything that you do. And believe me, this our Germany relocation as of then was never planned, because it's more like you just went for holiday with the kids, planning to come back to resume your work again, and the kids to resume school, and all of a sudden you're not going back again. So it's more like you just relocated on emergency, and nothing was planned. Even my clothes, my kids' clothes, my own clothes, everything was still in Ireland. So because we were not able to even go back to go and take it, I need to figure my life out first before going back to go and pack the clothes and all that. So yes, as we were there, I mean, you know how it is when my friend goes to work and the kids are playing because they're not going to school. Yes, in Germany, there is one thing you need to know. In Germany, if the kids are not registered in a particular address that is meant to be their home, they cannot go to school. Yes, because if you go to school to register them, they will ask you their address. And when you tell them the address, they have to check to be sure that that child is registered in that address. But the place we're not registered in that address, and we can't even be registered in that address, because if you go there to register them, they will ask you how many rooms are there. That is one thing with Germany, okay? How many rooms are there? If you tell them one room, they will never allow you to stay in that place with the kids. All right, so we just, we couldn't do anything. Even myself getting a job, it was a bit difficult, because there are some things I need to register for, and I can't do it with somebody's address. It was that difficult. It was really difficult. That's what I can say. So yeah, you know how it feels like when my friend goes to work and I am home, thinking about my life, asking myself a lot of questions, telling myself how I made a mistake. And sometimes you just tell yourself you made a mistake. Okay, I'm not saying a mistake of leaving the marriage. No, 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 no. That was never. No, no, no. That's not what I'm talking about. A lot of mistake, I would say, like, why did I even have to get myself into this in the first place? Okay, those are the kind of questions I keep on asking myself. So, but at the end of the day, when you still remember that there is a blessing there, you tell yourself, anyways, thank God. Okay. So yes, that was how it is. We were there in that house. My friend was so nice, but sometimes I feel like we are too much for this lady, because she goes to night walk, come back in the morning, she needs to rest, kids are there, food, we need to cook food, she has to bring money for us to go buy something. Sometimes even if she's going to work, she'll be like, okay, just take my card, you can go downstairs, where they sell things, the supermarket there, you can go there and go buy something for you and the girls to eat. And that card, when she give it to me, I will hold on to that card until she's back again, because I'll just be figuring out anything I see in the kitchen, I'll just give it to the girls to eat. For me, no, I'm not bothered. I mustn't eat. I must not eat, okay? So I'll just hold on to that card until she's back. She'll be like, why now? Just why didn't you just go and get something for you and the girls to eat? So that was how it's been going on. And yeah, until yes, one of the days we decided that okay, it's time for us to look for our own house, because I needed to get a job. The kids need to go to school, especially my first daughter, because then definitely she needs to go to school. If not, the country will come for me. So yeah, so we decided to find a house. Now, someone looking for a house and you don't have a penny. What exactly? Okay, yeah. So anyways, as God may have it, with my friend's influence, we started looking for a house. We were able to get 2 bedroom, okay, and with our influence, actually, because for me, there is no way I would have been able to get a house on my own, because I wasn't working. What would I present to them? What exactly would I tell them that I'm doing? Nothing. Okay, so yeah, with our influence, I was able to we were able to acquire that 2 bedroom apartment.